Well, hey there, everybody. It's Chris from the Rate the Record podcast. And look at this. It's the first NMR of 2025. I took a little bit of time off. I'm back at doing these again. I'm happy to do it. Today I got 4 songs to check out, 4 brand new songs. There's been plenty of time for new songs to come out. I've chosen 4. I have opinions on them because I've reviewed them. I want you to hear them and I want you to give me your opinions. That's how this whole thing works. So we can probably get started. But what would the NMR be if I didn't slide over here first and remind you that if you like what you see and or hear today, then make sure that you hit like and subscribe. Those things that really help the channel. Truly appreciate it. It means a lot to me and just the easiest way you can show your support. But without further ado, let's actually get this thing rolling. So first up on the list today, we have the band Architects, who have a brand new single out called Blackhole, and they also have a new album coming out soon as well. So surprise, of course they're gonna have a new single. And this one has some super low and just crunchy riffage to it, just like a really heavy punch right off the bat. The drum and bass style intro kind of caught me off guard a little bit, but I think it was fun overall. I think it pairs really well with these super technical and like sharp double kicks that you get throughout the track. There's a lot of clean cut production in this song, though there are parts that feel far more clean than others. I mean, it gives this very weird kind of super polished feeling at certain times. And I don't know, it feels like 2 different mixes of 2 different styles of production going on in this, because you have this super clean, almost robotic type of production. Then you have this more expansive, just like room sound filling kind of production. So it feels a little weird, but it doesn't necessarily sound bad, I can say that much. Overall, it's still a good, heavy track, good production for the most part, and I am curious to hear music off this new album when it finally does drop, because I mean, if it sounds like this, then it sounds like we have a lot to look forward to, so I'll be checking it out, but I like this one in the meantime. Coming up next on the list today, we have M.I.A. She is back with a brand new song called Armour. Not certain if there's a new album coming out. I didn't read that far into it. Maybe I should have, but regardless, new song, Armour. And there's a lot about this song that kind of gave me Animal Collective vibes, and very specifically older tracks like My Girls, which I really like that song. So the second I heard this one by M.I.A., that was the first thing to come in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like I've heard something like this before, and kind of going back and forth between the two. They're not dead similar, but you know where the vibes are coming from. The production is really hypnotic too. I mean, the beat itself is just a simple tabla and like additional light percussion type of groove going on there, and just very subtle in the background. And then you have these big expansive like echoing vocals just kind of all over the track. Unfortunately, outside of that, there's not much more to this song, so that hypnotic allure kind of got lost on me before too long, because I was anticipating literally anything else to happen at some point, and considering that the song is just over 3 minutes long, that's a lot to say, because I mean, something could have just like made it a little more exciting, but it's the same thing for 3 solid minutes. Overall, it is a peaceful track that flows just as nicely as water, but I mean, you kind of get your fill of it before too long. Maybe this is the kind of track to just have on nice in the background, don't really got to pay attention to it, but as much as I don't hate or necessarily like the song, let's just say it's not one I would choose to put on again. How about that? Third on the list today, we have Jethro Tull, a band that's been around since 1967, and they're still releasing music to this day. Brand new album coming out this year called Curious Ruminant, and they released the title track to it as the lead single, so of course I've listened to it, I've got some opinions on it, so what's it like? I feel like this one has some fun, proggy stuff going on throughout the track, but it just feels so weak in its production, I guess. I mean, the production does sound clean, but there's no punch to the music. I feel like the punch could have been there in this tune at all points, and you can hear certain parts where it really could have kicked in, but those punches are really being pulled throughout the entire duration of the song. I know Jethro Tull's not ever known to be the punchiest band out there, but it's right there. If you listen to this song, you can hear where it could really just pick up, or something like just big happens for a moment. Maybe like some of the riffage sounds a little heavier and a little louder, just like it was right there, and it never quite hit those peaks. Now, as mentioned, they are releasing a brand new album with this title, and I feel like that this song probably lies somewhere in the middle of that album, I would guess, because standing on its own, this song isn't all that fantastic. Like, as just one song, I'm not super thrilled about it, but I feel like this could easily be complemented by other songs on the track surrounding it, before it, after. It doesn't really matter, but I feel like this is going to do better as a story. So if it's a concept album, then I can see maybe this one fitting in somewhere in the middle, so maybe I'll have a better opinion about it after listening to the album. And overall, that's where I can leave it. I certainly don't hate the song, but I'm not really in love with it either. It's not something that really kind of added any intrigue for me, but again, I will check out the album, and maybe it'll sound better combined with other songs, so you can only hope. And I mean, Jethro Tull's been around for a long time, so I'm not expecting their magnum opus to be this next album, but we'll see what happens. And finally on the list today, we have the band Pup. They have a brand new single out called Paranoid, and this one I feel is definitely on the heavier side of what you would usually hear in the Pup discography. Not saying that Pup hasn't done heavy music before, but they kind of go back and forth between like heavier and like more just pop punky, just like a little more friendly kind of stuff. But this one I think definitely falls on the heavier side. It's punchy, it's energetic, and I feel like even though the pacing kind of goes towards halftime feel in the second half of the song, that's actually where things get much more intense and far more exciting for me, and that's also where the song gets to its heaviest point. So with the liveliness of the first half and then the slowed down, heavier second half, it all combines really well, and I really love this crunchy, off-the-floor style of production that we're getting with this song, so I enjoyed it for that too. Overall, it's a fun track. It's only 3.5 minutes long, and it gives you a good, catchy, lively performance in that duration. There's not really a lot for me to complain about with this one. I like it, and I think you're going to like it too, so go ahead, check it out. And that's all I have for the new music review this week, the first one of 2025, so thank you for tuning in and hanging out and listening to these songs with me. And if you did indeed listen to these songs, let me know down in the comments below what you think of these songs. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you agree or disagree with me? Anything to do with these songs, again, let me know down below. Very curious to hear your opinions. You heard mine, I want to hear yours. That's how this whole back and forth is supposed to work, and I enjoy reading your comments, so please go ahead and do that. You can also find other places to comment too and do whatever you want with Rate the Record over at ratetherecord.ca. That is ratetherecord.ca. Streaming links, social media links, the RTR Club, that's $3 a month. And I'll leave that to you to go investigate more. I don't want to waste too much time talking about it, but $3 a month, optional, you get bonus stuff, good stuff, check it out. And of course the RTR album chart, so every album reviewed on the podcast, the album chart is like chronological order of best to worst, the ratings for every season, so check that out if you're very curious about those particular kinds of stats. Now just a smidge of news about the channel, I guess, while I have you at the end here, if you're still indeed listening. Thank you very much for being here. So obviously the podcast has been off for a little while, just took the holidays off, and the NMR's been off too. NMR is back, and I'm going to try to continue them weekly now that I'm going re-energized, ready to do things again, so you should expect to see me here next week. And of course, the podcast is coming back soon, a few weeks at the point of releasing this particular NMR. February 10th, Monday, February 10th is when Season 7 starts, and I have a lot of focus and energy going into that. I've already written like the first 2 or 3 reviews, so I'm kind of getting ahead, which is nice, and I can't wait to bring it back for you. And I know in this time off in the podcast, I did originally say I was going to release an ILTS video, the I Love the Song series. I have the script practically written. I just didn't have the time, the motivation, or the energy while I was off to want to do that, because it's a lot of work for those videos. So unfortunately, it's not going to come out yet. Hopefully it'll come out sooner than later. I won't promise a date, but I think I'll eventually get around to it. I think I just wanted to completely relax for the holidays, so I've done that. Hopefully it'll come out soon. We will see. But if you feel like you missed anything over the holidays, I did release 2 videos towards Christmas and New Year's there. I did the honorable mentions for the NMR for 2024, and I also did the top 5 songs from the NMR of 2024. 2 videos back to back, like literally one day after the other. So if you missed those, go back and check those out. Some excellent song recommendations in there in case you missed any of them, and I highly suggest you check all of them out. But if you're not going to do all of them, just, pick and choose. Why not? They're all good in my eyes anyways. You should go ahead and see if you like them too. Done talking now. I've done selling you all my products. So now that I've said all that, you'll see me again next week for the NMR, because remember, the podcast is still a few weeks away. So until then, go listen to even more awesome music. Take care, friends.